Okay, so there's two things that we had a problem with here. Actually, three. The first one is this was a open cell foam enclosure. It was a retrofit. You can see some of the contents left on the left-hand side and the right-hand side of an attic. That is a water heater that's open combustion, 80% AFUE, annual fuel utilization. You cannot have an open combustion appliance inside a foam envelope. So they thought they could bring in some makeup air for it. That's the vent down below. But you see how the foam goes from real fluffy to real thin? They were also concerned about combustion. So in order to get the foam away from it, they went with a more high density foam, a closed cell foam. They went open to closed cell. That closed cell you can't use on the interior side of an assembly in the south. It'll trap moisture. So this was a rotten roof, open cell foam, super humid because of that vent down below, and then it just rained carbon monoxide on top of everybody. So this was a horrible, horrible attic. All right, I'm going to give a little extra on this one. The homeowner actually didn't have a big problem in their house. They just had a high electric bill. So they went and they called an insulator. And an insulator, they only know one thing, typically. I mean, I know lots of great insulators that know a lot of things besides insulation, that are responsible and understand building science, building physics, stuff like that. I see this problem quite a lot. Carbon monoxide is a real thing. That makeup air below, that only works if you create a convection loop. So you'd have to have one down low and one up high. Even then, it's attached to the outside. And those pressure dynamics, most likely what would happen is both of them would intake instead of create a circulation vent. It's just not safe. This is different than a furnace, right? On a furnace, it's an open combustion furnace inside a sealed envelope in the south. This is really only going to produce carbon monoxide in the winter time. But this is the water heater. This thing runs every single day, multiple times a day. So this is really the big carbon monoxide producer. And I know that some people will say you can still use closed cell spray foam on the interior side. It's just a bad idea. It's not necessary, especially on a roof. And this was actually, you can see this is a roof line going down like that. That's why it's pulling away from us too. So this is a big fix. And then when I actually got there and I said, what was your impetus for this? What created it? She said, I have high utility bills. The second I see one of your utility bills. So we choose our own power down here. So you can pick one of 90,000 people that sell power. And what had happened is she had signed up for a power provider that gave her 8 cents a kilowatt hour, some good deal. And those retail electric providers, that's who they are. They put you on a good deal hoping that you forget to renew. That's the deal. That's how they make money. And when you forget to renew, they put you on a horrible, horrible plan. So that was the first thing that happened. She forgot to renew, so she got put on a bad plan. So she went from 8.5 cents to 15 cents a kilowatt hour, so almost twice that. Well, then that retail electric provider went out of business. So when they go out of business, they produce a thing called the Provider of Last Resort, or POLR. It's like a catch-all. So she went from, and these are other providers, and they just provide this atrocious, it's like getting state-provided insurance. So she went from 15 cents a kilowatt hour to 28 cents a kilowatt hour. So she really didn't have an energy efficiency problem. She had a retail electric provider problem. She had a not keeping up with her bill, not understanding that she had to get on there and remind herself to renew. I think this is borderline predatory. So now she had not only this utility bill that we were able to help her get fixed, but she has a big chocolate mess on her hands. So it is not, when we look at the structures, we're looking at issues. We're not just looking at the structure. We do care about the people, the psychology, the economics behind it. And we sat down at her kitchen table and looked at utility bills, slowed down and explained it to her, circled those items on the bill physically. And then we're not a retail electric provider. We don't do any of the work. We're not insulators, but we know all those resources. And not only did we connect her with a good retail electric provider, but we even made a note internally in our own systems of when she was up for the next 2 years. We contacted her a week before her renewal was up, just to remind her. We didn't have to do that. It's just kind of how we roll. We were concerned that she would fall back into that place. So, yeah.